Welcome back to our channel. You're watching Rise TV Global. Tension between the US and China are peaking.
Well, I don't ever talk about my travel because, as some of you know, it's a security issue. It's a security issue for every member of Congress traveling, especially abroad. But for the Speaker, it is an additional security issue, and for those traveling with me, not just members, but staff, etc. The President earlier in his term talked about a strong emphasis on the Asian Pacific. He has visited there, the Vice President has visited there, the Secretary of Commerce and others, and we want the Congress of the United States to be part of that initiative. Of course, as a West Coast person, we see the Pacific as that's our home. We're part of that as well. That is not to diminish the importance of our transatlantic relationships as well. But I'm very excited. Should we go to the countries that you'll be hearing about along the way about how the conversations we have now. Earlier this year, a couple months ago, I guess it was, we had 9 leaders of the ASEAN, Southeast Asian countries, at the House. It was bipartisan. In fact, we invited some of the Senate to come, and some participated, to have a conversation, hear their presentations, and really another symbol. The President had that ASEAN meeting in Washington, D.C., and we were very much a part of it. So again, we have global responsibilities, whether it comes to 3 things, I would say: security, economy, and governance. And this will be part of that. That's it. Thank you all.
习众议长如果赴台，将是对中国内政的粗暴干涉，严重损害中国主权和领土完整，肆意践踏一个中国原则，严重威胁台海和平稳定，严重破坏中美关系，导致非常严重的事态和后果。我们要再次正告美方，中方正严阵以待，中国人民解放军绝不会坐视不管，中方必将采取坚决应对和有力反制措施，捍卫自身主权和领土完整。如果佩洛西众议长访问台湾，中方必将采取坚决应对和有力的反制措施，捍卫自身的主权和领土完整。至于是什么措施，如果他敢去，那就让我们拭目以待吧。
U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi kicked off a closely watched Asia tour on Monday, August 1st in Singapore, as China warned that its military would never sit idly by if she were to visit Taiwan, the self-ruled island claimed by Beijing. Following widespread speculation about whether she would visit Taiwan, Pelosi's office announced on July 31st that she would be leading a congressional delegation to the region, which would include stops in Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea, and Japan. Taiwan was not mentioned. Of course, it would be added by Biden administration.
The Speaker has the right to visit Taiwan, and the Speaker of the House has visited Taiwan before without incident, as have many members of Congress, including this year. The world has seen the United States government be very clear that nothing has changed. Nothing has changed about our one China policy. We have repeatedly said, that we oppose any unilateral changes to the status quo from either side. We have said that we do not support Taiwan independence, and we have said that we expect cross-strait differences to be resolved by peaceful means. We have communicated this directly to the PRC at the highest levels, including as recently as last week in the phone call between President Biden and President Xi. Put simply, there is no reason for Beijing to turn a potential visit consistent with long-standing U.S. policy into some sort of crisis or conflict, or use it as a pretext to increase aggressive military activity in or around the Taiwan Strait. What that does is it does increase the risk of miscalculation, as I said, and which could lead to unintended consequences. And that's really the risk. You asked specifically, are they at risk? That's where the risk comes in. It's not so much that there might be a direct attack, but it raises the stakes of miscalculation and confusion, which could also lead to
It's a good idea for Speaker Pelosi to travel to Taiwan this summer.
Well, I think that the military thinks it's not a good idea right now, but I don't know what the status of it is.
If Pelosi visits Taiwan, it will be a gross interference in China's internal affairs, according to Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian, and will result in very serious developments and consequences. We would like to remind the US that China is standing by, that the Chinese People's Liberation Army will never sit idly by, and that China will take resolute responses and strong countermeasures to defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity, Zhao said during a regular daily briefing. Zhao said if she dares to go, then let us wait and see. China believes U.S. visits to Taiwan encourage the island's pro-independence stance. U.S. law requires Washington to give Taiwan with the tools to defend itself despite lacking diplomatic ties. During a phone chat last Thursday, Chinese President Xi Jinping reminded U.S. Vice President Joe Biden to abide by the One China principle, where Biden told Xi that U.S. policy on Taiwan has not changed and that Washington opposes unilateral actions to disrupt the status quo or threaten peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait. China has made it absolutely clear that it opposes Taiwan independence. The U.S. has repeatedly declared its One China policy has not altered and that it opposes any change to the Taiwan Strait status quo, he said. Unless by accident, I'm sure neither side would intentionally take military action that could lead to a major security risk. As Pelosi landed in Taiwan on August 2nd, 2022, which was not mentioned earlier. Pelosi's visit also came at a critical time for both Pelosi's Democratic Party and Taiwan's governing Democratic Progressive Party, DPP. November's midterm elections in the U.S. will determine whether or not the Democrats maintain their present majority in the House and Senate, which is impossible. Public is diverting towards Trump, and America wants Trump again. Response from China will determine whether Pelosi's visit helps or hurts the DPP in the eyes of Taiwanese people.
For more updates, hit that subscribe button with the bell icon, and don't forget to like and share. Stay tuned.